So this one's just a little bit down further down the street. So once again, still very good. This whole street is all brick and all the same kind of style, which is a little bit uncommon for the area, which is nice. When you find these little pockets where there's ones like this is actually really good. Let's this looks fairly good so far. Little porch is kind of just like the other one. See, as you can see, these are they must have all been built at the same time. So the garage door looks like it needs to be fixed. However, I've got a garage door guy, so he's actually one of Shang's tenants. His uncle owns a garage door company and he works for them. So I've got some things we could do with that. And it really only looks like there's just this part here. So it might not be too bad of a fix. It might just be a door and a couple little railing spots. Besides that, it looks very dry in here. Everything looks good. There's your hole over here. That is also something that is something like you pull it off and then we just put new siding there. We just put new board there. It's very easy, very cheap. We haven't discussed yet on how you were looking at purchasing. If it was a loan, they may have an issue with the garage door. They may not. It very much depends on what type of loan we're getting and what the actual underwriter says. So if it's not a government one and it's a DSCR, which is a private investor loan, then it ends up being what the investor thinks is important and what they ask the appraiser to look for. Sometimes they don't care about garages, other stuff like that. Other times they will. I've personally had one where they didn't care about the fact that the garage was almost falling down. However, had a huge problem that the smoke detectors were on the actual shelf, like on the kitchen counter, and not installed. But once again, you wouldn't think that would be a problem. Roof also looks pretty good from this side. We've got our flashing parts up here, so that, and it slopes downwards in a way, so that should be good. However, we would need a roofing person to tell us about that. However, the inside will tell us more as well. Okay, continuing through inside now. Looks very nice. It's nicely painted. So as you can see, this is exactly the same style as the other one. Looks all very nicely done. However, this time the furnace is down here instead of in the ceiling. Personally, it takes away a little bit of space having it down here, but it also makes maintenance much easier. Because one of the things that I would always suggest is that we do the furnace filter removals and change them and do them twice a year. because if you let the tenants do it, then they won't do it. It gets clogged up. It's the #1 cause of fire. So it's easier to keep that maintenance being only $20 something plus the call out fee at the highest for the highest level filter. So that would make that very easy. It ended up being like $65 or something for have Gary run out here and do it. And you just do that for twice a year. So small house, really simple. That'll be the garage one. Should be the garage one. It'd have to be, yeah, garage. And even though it's upside down. But other than that, looks pretty good. How does that door open? Windows look fairly good. We'll have to make sure they're not painted in, but that's always something that we can easily remedy later on. Okay, so the back door opens and closes good. One of the things that Rick, who is one of the inspectors, or there's only 2 of them, but so he's one of the rental inspectors for over here. One of the things that he is going to check will be that windows open and have the ability to stay open. However, he will also allow you to do things like, if it doesn't stay open, he'll allow you to put a little dowel, a little drill mark, and put a dowel in, and then have the dowel attached. So we've done that a couple of times before. It's only, a few dollars to do that, so it's not like you have to replace a whole window. He's very lenient and very good with that type of stuff. If you want to check and see if there's any broken windows or anything like that, Gary. I was going to say, yeah. I know you went through pretty good already. So, little closet space. Once again, one of the things that I like is there's no basement. It's definitely a nice little pickup. They're all brick, so you don't have a lot of the issues on the outside. A lot of issues with temperature and stuff, and trying to keep them insulated. You can see that there's been a small crack across here. It looks like they repaired at one point, and that could be a little bit from settling, but this is all tiled, which means it'll have all the waterproofing and everything behind. And little soap dishes and everything. So this has all been here for quite some time, probably from when the house was first made. And looks like it's holding up quite well. Hello again. I'm in my workwear because we're going to go do some repairs on another place. Once again, looks nicely painted. Everything looks good. New blinds. Floors look very nice. I'm not feeling anything weird walking on them. You didn't feel anything weird walking anywhere? So far, besides the garage and possibly that little spot on the roof, this one I would say is actually a little bit nicer than the first one down the street that we looked at.
Yeah, I would buy this one.
Yeah, okay, so Gary would buy this one. Gary, you're not buying this one. So yeah, no, this is very nice, and like I said, garage is an easy fix. We just don't know what the loan would do. If the loan decides that they want to be a little bit pickier with it, then we'd have to ask and get them to do it. I bought some of these myself. I like these little lights. So if they were, then we may have to fix during closing to get it to close. Otherwise, we just fix it afterwards. But either way, either they would fix it or we would fix it, whatever gets it to closing, and then it would just be the same little simple repair either way. Okay, I will talk to you soon.